The reminder of tonight, it's related to one of the foundations of any relationship, which is about trust. Any relationship has to be built on trust. Even your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your parents, your relationship with your community, the relationship between the governor and the citizen, the relationship between any humans, it has to be built on trust. Even the relationship between you and yourself, it has to be based on trust. So if you look at this concept, which is the trust, it's a very essential. Actually starting between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah trusts you. That's why He have given you this religion. And it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala choose the word very carefully. If you look at it, He used the word amana. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that the amana was given to you, which is the religion. So He called it amana because it's a trust. That means He trusts you to carry that responsibility. He trusts you to be the one who will establish societies and life on this earth. He trusts you with that. Even before in the angels, they said you're going to make in this earth who will spread corruption. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, no. Inni a'lamu ma la ta'lamun. Also the trust from you towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so much. Otherwise there is no meaning for belief if you don't trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When it comes to the relationship with yourself, if you don't trust yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody will believe in you. No one ever believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. And that's the rule. That's why I remember somebody came to me not long time ago and told me, Sheikh Walid, I need an advice from you. I said, what you looking for? He said, I have a hard time with the community. You know, I feel that the community, don't trust me to take a leadership in the community. So I asked him a simple question. I said, how do you see yourself in the community? He said, I see myself one of the workers of this community. I said, that's exactly how people are treating you. Why are you complaining? You don't see yourself as a person who take leadership, who take initiative, who lead, who take basically being in charge. You see yourself as just a secondary person in the community. So don't blame people for treating you this way. The way you portray yourself, the way how people exactly will look at you. Also, when it comes to trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, today I was involved in a fundraising for our brothers and sisters in Pakistan with Islamic Relief, a joint effort between Al-Maghrib and Islamic Relief, targeting to collect $200,000 as a relief, basically aid to Pakistan. And one of the people who were in the call shared with us a story of an incident that he witnessed, which is a family saw this ice chest, a cooler, flowing on that water. Basically they grab it and they open it, they found in it a baby 1 month old. And they save the life of that baby, 1 month old. And I just can't imagine that moment when that mother had to make that decision what to do with the baby. And she put him in that cooler and let it go to be in the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remembering hopefully that whatever happened with Musa and his mother, that takes a lot of trust, to trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to be, to go to that extent. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved that child. It's really an interesting, moving story. When it comes to relationship with your wife, with your husband, it has to be built on trust. If you don't trust your spouse, you cannot establish a family. If you don't trust your spouse, you cannot basically establish a family. Actually, it says we must trust and believe others. Otherwise, life will be impossible in general. So also the same thing with family. If there is no trust between both of you, it's impossible to have a successful or a happy family, Also, there is a trust must be between you and your children. And the children must trust their parents. A lot of young kids also, they don't trust their parents. You know, when their parents told them something, as if some of the young brothers now smiling. Yes, unfortunately, so many times we feel like the older, when they give us advice, we don't trust their advice. We have to build trust between each other. So I have to trust my parents, I trust my children, I trust my spouse, I trust my husband, my wife, I trust other people. It is very good that your nature to trust people. Unfortunately, I found a lot of people, it's the opposite. That they deal with people and the default is not trusting anyone. And even some people raised this way. I will never forget, one of the things that I used to hear growing up, people, oh, be careful, people plot against you. Be careful, this is a corrupt time, there is a corrupt people, don't trust anyone, don't. That distrust that we have towards others can have very negative impact on the decision that we make, or the plan, or even the progress that we make in life. There is several points to trust. I'm not going to, this short khatira is not meant to cover the whole subject, but I just want to point out, just to flash the points, think about it. Trust takes years to establish and moment to destroy. Trust takes years to establish and moment to destroy. Remember that. And it's very hard to re-establish a trust. Very hard to re-establish a trust. I teach a course, it's called Fiqh of Love, about marriage. And I share with my students an incident of a brother that his wife always had a problem with him going to websites and meeting girls online, and chatting with women, and you know, even he's married and he seems to be a religious person. One time she emailed him as if she's a woman from these girls who like him, and she kept corresponding with him in emails over 2 months. They talking to each other online, and she even put a date between her and him. And in a hotel room. And when he went to the hotel room and he was waiting, she came in and she was covered. And when she basically covered, that she saw his wife in front of him. And I always discuss this in my course. What do you think this woman do? Should divorce her husband? She should try again to build the trust or not? And I'm sure you can give me a lot of feedback, but that's not a course. But what I'm trying to say here, this woman had a very hard time to reestablish a trust in her husband. And I give her every excuse for that. It's very hard when you break that trust with your parents. You know what? Your father trusts you with something, and you basically messed it up. You screwed up that trust that he gave it to you. Don't expect that next day he will be, you know what, khalas, everything will forgotten. No, it will take time. And if this has been said also, we have to say, it is never too late to repair a damaged trust. It's never too late to repair a damaged trust. Don't ever say it's too late. Immediately you need to do quick fix, and it doesn't mean gonna fix it, but a quick things to do. One, acknowledge your mistake in front of the person that you betrayed. Acknowledge your mistake, admit it, show regret and humility toward that person that you have betrayed. Also change. Make sure that you change yourself, and make sure that you give them enough time to see that change happening and taking place. Don't rush to everything to be changed quickly like this. Give it a time, and it will take time for them to acknowledge that change that it happened to you. Anyway, this is just one quote. I wrote it down. One of my students sent it to me. She said once to me, I'm not upset that my husband lied to me. I'm not upset that my husband lied to me. I'm really upset that I will, from now on, never can believe him again. That's what's really upset to me. It's not as much as about the lie, but it's about that I will never be able to trust him again, like the way I used to be before he lied to me. So remember that. Trust, it takes years to build and moments to destroy. Remember also, it's never too late two, it's never too late to repair a damaged trust. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ja'alna wa iyyakum min al-muwaffaqin. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad.